Hi guys, and welcome to the Self-Devotion Project. Tomorrow starts week 2 of the Self-Devotion Project, but before we go into what that's going to be about, let's talk about week 1. Week 1 was exercise. I devoted myself 1 hour every day to exercise, and I did manage to find that time every single day. Some days I did the whole hour in the morning, some days I did it in the afternoon or at night, and other days I split it into 2, so I might have done 30 minutes at one point and then 30 minutes later on. Generally, most days I looked forward to it. I set the time aside and I really looked forward to that time just for myself, that self-care time. There were 2 days that I really struggled, and that was day 3 and day 5. And I actually did put posts up about that on my page for you guys to read, just so you knew what was going on in the mind-body for me. So really on day 3 and day 5, especially day 5, my mind-body was saying, you know what, you're so tired, you don't want to do this. But I knew in my soul that that wasn't the whole truth. So I knew that my soul wanted what was best for me, and that was to continue to be devoted to this project, to continue to do the 1 hour of exercise a day. So rather than completely ignore that part of myself, I decided that instead of going full bore like I normally would on the exercise machine, because I've been doing the treadmill this week, walking, I decided to still do the hour, but just slow it right down to a pace that was doable that day for the way that my body was feeling, the tiredness and the energy drain, which would have been a combination of also changing my diet quite radically from the holiday season this week as well. The benefits that I felt from exercising every day definitely increased energy. I felt clearer in the mind. I felt lighter on my feet. I felt my head was clearer. I could concentrate more thoroughly. My sleep was better. Just generally felt better, more energized, and just felt good about myself, that I was actually doing the work, doing the self-care. Especially the days that I got out into nature were amazing. I mean, nothing beats nature, right, for exercise. I think that's the best way that you can get exercise. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but out in nature is just amazing. Okay, so that was week 1. Now week 2, we're going on to clean eating. So the exercise is going to continue this week, but the main focus is going to be on clean eating. Now, clean eating means different things to different people. I'm sure there are so many diets out there now, it can be tricky to know what you should do. My belief is that we all suit different diets, that we're all essentially a little bit different, and our bodies require different things. Clean eating is something that I am very passionate about. I'm not a dietitian and I'm not a nutritionist, and I don't claim to be a professional in clean eating or in food or nutrition. However, I am very passionate about it. It is something that I've been studying now for probably about 10 years, and that's because I've had my own struggles with food. I've had struggles with food, diet, my weight, body image, all of those things for pretty much my whole life. I'd say my earliest memory of thinking about my weight was 7 years old. So I'm 34 now, so that's quite a long time to have those kind of issues, and I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where I've left a lot of it behind, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the self-hate. I've managed to find a way to let go of that and to really learn to just love and accept and appreciate myself regardless of what my body looks like. Currently I'm actually at my heaviest. I did manage to lose about 1.5 kilos in the first week of this project, which is kind of cool. My body does lose weight quite slowly because I have a lot of hormonal issues going on, and also chronic disease and back issues as well. So it is always a little bit slow for me. So 1.5 kilos for the first week, not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. So as I said, I've had a lot of trouble with my weight and food, and hence the interest, I guess, in nutrition. What have I learned over the last 10 years? Well, I've learned a lot. I've done a lot. I mean, name any diet, I've probably done it. The main diets at the moment that people are dabbling in would be things like veganism, vegetarian, paleo, Mediterranean, raw food, fruitarian, which is when you eat nothing but fruit. I've done it. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of different diets out there. I myself was vegan for about 2 years, and for part of that I was completely raw food and even fruitarian at points here and there. And look, I did find that to be quite a great way to live. I felt good, my skin was clear and beautiful, my weight was stable, and yeah, I felt amazing. But then as time went by, my health started to suffer. And I had to really look into that and try and figure out what was going on. And with the help of a lot of research and meeting a good friend of mine who's an integrative doctor, I realised that that kind of diet isn't for everybody. And I guess because I was so much into that whole world, it was really hard for me to transition out of that and back into eating meat in my diet. So yes, I eat meat again now. I try to find ethically sourced, grass-fed, organic options wherever possible. I think that's important, being an animal lover. But I have realised that for me, being a Mediterranean myself, I am a Greek, and I have a blood type O, which means I have a lot more stomach acid for digesting meat. I have found that I do need meat for some of the important vitamins and minerals that keep the body healthy that I just couldn't get from a vegan diet. And I've also learnt why I was attracted to a vegan diet. That's actually also to do with what was going on in my body. I was lacking certain vitamins and minerals that were making me sort of repel meat and other protein-based products. I still stay off dairy. I don't believe dairy is necessarily good for the body. I mean, we are the only species that drink milk after we're weaned off the tit, which is, kind of a bit strange. I do stick to almond milk, rice milk, those kinds of options. So anyway, I'll just tell you guys what I'm going to do with clean eating, what clean eating means to me, and especially given that I have chronic disease, and over these 30 weeks during the project I really want to try and eliminate as many of my symptoms as possible, if not all of them. Wouldn't it be great to be in remission? That's my hope. So for me, what clean eating is going to mean is cutting out the inflammatory foods. Now, the inflammatory foods to me are gluten, wheat, corn, dairy, sugar, alcohol, and nightshade vegetables. So potatoes are out, unfortunately. I know we all love potatoes, right? Now that's not to say that those foods will always be gone from my diet, but they'll be gone for now until I can find some healing within. Repair my gut health. I do have leaky gut, so those inflammatory foods that I just talked about prevent the leaky gut from healing, and also my chronic disease, which I haven't told you guys about yet, but it's called interstitial cystitis. It's like having a bladder infection 24/7, but when they test you, there's no infection there. So it's kind of a bit of a mystery illness. But what they do know is that the lining of the bladder has kind of deteriorated, and so when the bladder fills up, there's a lot of pain there. So it's kind of like an acidy, burning pain. Sometimes it's so bad I feel like there should be a hole there, right? So if I cut out these inflammatory foods and I add in some fermented foods and some bone broths, things that help to repair the lining of organs, then I'm hoping that the bladder will repair itself and the pain will go down or cease altogether. So for the next 30 weeks, I'm going to try and keep those foods cut out of my diet most of the time, if not all the time. This week, which is clean eating week, those foods will be completely out. So I'm not going to let myself have any of those foods. I guess the most important thing with clean eating is to stay off all processed foods. So when you go on your grocery shop, it's best to just shop around the perimeter of the supermarket, which is getting your fruits and your vegetables, nuts and seeds, lean, healthy meat options, legumes and beans if you like that sort of food. And yeah, you might need to go into a couple of the aisles if there are some healthy packet foods that you know of. Always check. If there's more than maybe like 5 ingredients, it's generally not good for you, especially if you don't know what those ingredients are. If you see any numbers, that's generally a no-no. So yeah, just have a look at the ingredients. If you kind of know what the ingredients are, then it's probably okay. But if you're reading all these weird words and you have no idea what they are on the package, safe to say it's probably got a lot of nasties in there that probably shouldn't be going in your body when you're trying to do some clean eating. For me, clean eating just means eating foods close to nature, things that have a face, so that's your proteins, or things that have come from the earth. So that's kind of the easy way to kind of think about it. So what sort of things will I be eating? Well, for breakfast, I'll probably be sticking to either some eggs or I'll be making a protein smoothie. For snacks, I'll be having nuts and fruit. For lunches and dinners, I'll be having meat and salad, or meat and vegetables, or soup, or bone broths, and also some fermented foods as well. So sauerkraut, kombucha, which is a drink that you can have, which helps with the gut, improving your gut sort of microbes. I'm not a scientist, so yeah, you probably get what I'm saying, some of you out there. And what else was I going to tell you? Yes, probiotics. Sorry, that took me a while to get to. Probiotics are amazing for gut health, digestion, just the whole body. And the important thing about the gut is that it's kind of like our second brain. This is what scientists have just been discovering lately, is that the gut is the second brain, right? So the gut and the brain talk to each other. And if the gut's not happy, a lot of things can go wrong in the body. So another important thing to know is that the chemical serotonin, which is the feel-good chemical, so it's the chemical that makes us feel happy, was always thought to be situated just in the brain. But what scientists have learnt lately is that actually the majority of that serotonin is actually in your gut. So if the gut's not healthy and the gut's not happy, you're not feeling happy either. It affects your mood and causes depression. So how do we fix the gut? We fix the gut with clean eating. We fix the gut with probiotics. We fix the gut with fermented foods. Okay? So if you can add more good food into your diet, then that's even something. If you're not ready to cut everything out, that's fine, but just add more of the good in. Add more of the fruits and the vegetables. We should be eating 60% plus a day of just fruits and vegetables. Mostly vegetables, okay? So especially if you have a weight problem, probably keep the fruit down just a little bit more, maybe 2 cups a day of fruit. If your weight is fine, you're doing it for health reasons, you can probably have a little bit more fruit. But pack your plate full of vegetables. Half your plate should be vegetables. And then 1/4 of your plate can be your protein. So either, your meat, or if you're a vegetarian, it might be tofu. And then 1/4 of your plate would be, if you're having grains, healthy grains like brown rice, quinoa, those kinds of things. So that just gives you an idea of kind of what to eat. Also, I didn't mention with nuts, just a handful of nuts is enough for a serving, okay? So I think that pretty much covers it. Most of you probably kind of have a good idea about cleaning. I mean, it's such a big thing out there, like it's everywhere, right? So we kind of all sort of know what we're supposed to be doing, but kind of get off track because life gets busy and all of that. So preparation is key as well. Have the food ready to go. Maybe do your big shop on Sunday and have it all there ready. And maybe even prepare some of the food. Like sometimes on a Sunday we'll put a barbecue chook on ourselves, like we make it ourselves with an organic grass-fed, either lamb or chicken or whatever it is that we choose, and we put it on the roast, and then we pretty much have it for at least half a week. So we can just pick a bit off, put it on our salad, pick a bit off, put it, with veggies, whatever it is. So yeah, so keep that in mind, that preparation is key. If you're not prepared and you're hungry, sometimes you're just going to go for the wrong option, no matter how devoted or committed that you think you are. Like I've been there myself. So that's just a bit of an important tip on making sure that you're prepared to keep yourself committed. Stick to it. So just remind yourself all the time when you're thinking of lapsing, just remind yourself why you're doing it, why it's important, what you're trying to achieve, and that is health. Okay, now I'll tell you right now, I really believe that so many people take their health for granted. I did. I took my health for granted until I got sick. And I tell you right now, if I was 10 years younger, I would have done things so differently. I would have treated my body with the respect that it deserved. We only have one body. In this particular lifetime, we have the one body, and we need to treat it with respect. They say the body is a temple. It truly is. It's the only place you have to live. So you've got to treat it with respect. And that's what I'm doing for this 30 weeks and beyond. This 30 weeks is just kind of the beginning, right? I'm going to keep using these practices for the rest of my life because I want to live a vibrant, vital, healthy, happy, passionate life. Don't we all? Okay, so this week, clean eating. I'm going to share a couple of recipes with you guys, things that I'm making and eating and enjoying. So I hope you tune in. I'll put up a couple of videos as well of things that I make so you guys can see. And if anyone's going along with this, I'd love to hear your results from week 1 and any comments from week 2 of how you're going and how things are progressing. If you have any questions, you can post those in the comments as well. I'd be happy to help. And I think that's pretty much it for now. If I think of anything else, I'll pop it in the next video or in a comment throughout the week. Thanks once again for joining. Thanks for watching this video, and have a beautiful, inspired, healthy, vibrant week. Much love from me to you, and light-filled blessings.